I'm Eileen. This is Good Enough Gardening.
Good morning. It is the last weekend in March and it's very cold and drizzly outside, but I have been sick all week and that has meant a lot of sitting and resting, which I don't do well and I don't enjoy. So since I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm gonna come out here and I'm all bundled up so that I don't further make myself sick. But I just wanted to get out in the garden a little bit and see some green. And so I thought I would take you along with me and do more of a vlog type situation. I wish there was a better word for that. Anyway, come along, why don't you? I'm gonna start by picking up dog poop, which you don't need to see, but I'm also gonna try and make a wee little fire and see if I can't make it feel a little bit cozy. Let's go. I know what you're thinking. Cleaning up dog poop in wet weather. Isn't that a horrible idea? And guess what? You're right. It's disgusting. But now it's done. It's also kind of easier to see because the leaves are all wet and dark brown, and the poop is a slightly different color of brown. It's still not quite time to rake up all the leaves that I've had covering my beds. So I'm gonna resist, but I might like investigate a little bit. It's so exciting. There's starting to be like the buds on the lilacs are coming out. It's starting to look like spring. So this is my spring garden back here, and that way is south. So this warms up first, and you can see it's probably the greenest part of the garden right now. And we have the puppy, so I've been out here with her, and because everything's all covered up and everything, I've just been letting her run around. However, then I have to chase her, and it's hard to see what I might be stepping on. So since this is gonna warm up first, I think it's safe to clear away some of these leaves and debris, so we can get a better look at what's here, and so I can keep an eye on it. I think I need to move this pot. Also, okay, so I removed part of the brick here so that I could get an idea of what it's gonna look like. I'm still not sure. The bricks look so nice in the spring. That's when they look good. Because you get the fresh green of the grass. There's this clean border. The bricks look great, but they become a pain in summer. So I think they're gonna have to go, but I just don't know. What do you think? Oh. One of my plans for this year, I think, is this rain barrel, which before was like close to the front of the garage. It's now kind of in the way of the new porch area, so I'm gonna need to move that back here, and then I think I'm gonna move my compost bin over here as well. I'm not great at composting. I still try though. And I don't really have a great place for it to live. Right now it's on the other side of the garage, which is another one of my projects this year, is to clean that area up. It's sort of a shame area. I just throw everything there because I can't walk there, but then the reason I can't walk there is because there's so much stuff piled there. So that needs to be dealt with because I want to build storage for my kayaks over there. So there are some hostas along the garage here. Excuse me. And once those are up, then I will dig them up, and then that way I'll have sort of a clear area And then I have some hellebores here. There's one right here that's coming up. And I think I'm gonna move those too. I fell prey to sort of the, I guess, propaganda, for lack of a better word, that they do well under trees. But now that I know they can take more sun, I'm gonna move them maybe forward a little bit or maybe over there, so that they can thrive a little bit more, because they're so slow growing that they haven't really done much. I mean, they're growing, but they're getting bigger very slowly. So they, I think, need to be moved. I know there are many more efficient ways to clean all of the debris out of here. You know, I can rake it, which I probably will do at some point, but this is the stuff I really like, is just being here, being quiet, getting up really close with stuff, and just going through bit by bit so that I know what's here really well. Most of the time I like that. Sometimes I just want to chop stuff up and work really fast. But not today. I think what I'm gonna do, I've cleared up this area a little bit. And this is part of where I've removed the bricks. And you can see this is also where I removed the bricks. So I think what I'm gonna do now, just to see if I feel any better about it, is get my sharp spade and cut my new border as it's gonna be, and see if I like that any better. Well, I accidentally did not record this, but I was trying to. But I wanted to see, hello. I wanted to see if I dug a clean edge for this bed back here, if I would like it a little better or feel better about taking the brick up. And so I did that to a small section. So let's see what we think. So as you can see, I dug a clean edge and sort of flipped it back that way. And then once I get mulch, hopefully then this nice clean sort of channel will stop it from spilling on over to the grass. How do we feel about that compared to the, compared to the brick edging? Please ignore the messy chicken area. I haven't cleaned that up yet. I don't know yet. Maybe once the grass has greened up, I will like it better. I add some more mulch. I think it could work. I think it's worth not tripping over the bricks. Well, I would like to do some more things out here, but I'm trying to be sensible and not make myself feel worse by being out in the damp and cold, because it's definitely getting colder. And it's going to continue to be kind of chilly and wet this week. So I'll try and get some more stuff done out here after work this week, and see where we can get. But April begins this week. I'm looking forward to that. February and March are probably my least favorite months. So I'm looking forward to really feeling like spring is happening.
It's been a week since I was out here. It looks pretty much the same, except it's actually sunny. And that makes a really big difference in whether or not I'm interested in doing any work out here, and my level of interest in remaining alive. So high levels today. I got a little bit done last weekend. I was coming off of being sick, and it was really cold and damp and unpleasant out here. It's still pretty chilly, but at least it's sunny. So I am going to work on getting a few things done. I want to keep, you can see I've got a big pile of brush over here, and still a lot to clean up on this side of the yard. So now that we're gonna come into a few days of warm weather, I feel better about cutting things back. One, because they'll be able to survive without so much insulation, even if we get more snow or another cold snap. The other big thing is the pollinators that have been in hibernation. A lot of them, the reason I leave a lot of these seed heads is because many pollinators will go into the little tubes in the flower stems. So you don't really want to disturb those too early and potentially harm like solitary bees, things like that. And that is why I have been waiting to cut them back. However, there are green things emerging. Look at that. And so I want to see them. Something else I'm going to work on is probably starting some more seeds in my little greenhouse out here. And I am going to dig up some of my plants and divide them, propagate them, because I am part of our local master gardener group, and we have a plant sale coming up in May. So I want to get some of my most hardy perennials divided so that we can sell them and raise some money for the master gardeners. Let's go. What I have in these beds is sedum, which is just probably the #1 plant I would recommend to anyone gardening in a tough climate. We get down to 20 below 0 Fahrenheit here, and this does just fine. It's always the first to emerge, and then it flowers late summer, so it's just beautiful. This is, let's see, catnip, or nepeta, however you say it. This is another one of my favorites. I don't know what the variety is, but this stuff is so tough. It propagates really easily, and emerges early and then lasts all summer, and you can sort of shape it when you trim it, which I like. That is salvia. I moved that last year. Happy it's come back. Looking good. I may try to take some, propagate a little bit of this because I would love to have more salvia. This has a much darker purple than the catmint. And then over here, this is lavender, and I probably pruned it a little too aggressively. That is my banana tree from last year, so I need to pull that out. I tend to just dump my pots out and then sort of wait for them to disintegrate a little bit and use the spent potting soil as compost. Here's something I found while grubbing around. I think, you see that? Probably not. Anyway, I believe this is yarrow. Oop. I believe this is yarrow, and I planted a bunch of it last year. You can see it's actually, you know, it's growing. But this, I must not have planted it very deep, surprise, surprise. And, oh, hello. It looks like it just kind of pulled out of the ground, but this stuff grows very well here, and I'm just gonna set this aside, and this will be one of the things that I pot up for the sale. Good find. Whoops. Well, that was nice. I know I literally just said that I enjoy, oh, tissue, that I enjoy cleaning everything up by hand, which I do. However, this is a much bigger area than over there. And also, I'm not feeling sick, so I want more physical activity. But I uncovered a bunch of stuff. It's looking much cleaner. So let's see what's there. Here is one of my elderberry. Actually, this is the only one. This is a black lace elderberry, and it's starting to get some buds, which is exciting. And beneath it, looks like we have some allium popping up, more sedum, and I uncovered a wee little catmint here. I'll probably dig that up, use that for a division. And there's one of my generous gardener roses. Looks like it's coming back to life. I see some green, more allium. And I saw over here, oops, If you look really close. So here's the yarrow. Here's more. So that's Achillea. And this is Coreopsis. I actually think I'm gonna move, so I put a lot of yarrow back here. I grew it from seed. It grew great, but it definitely got too floppy here. Here's some more. And I think that's partially because this soil is really nice. Yarrow is one of those plants that can really handle terrible soil and really hot, dry conditions. And because my tree came down out up front, I am going to basically have to redo that whole front garden. And so I think the yarrow, especially sedum, those are going to really be my stars out there because they will be able to tolerate that heat and the sun, or the heat and the dryness. It's really dry out there, one, because when the tree was there, it would suck up all the moisture, but it was a very big old tree. So there are tons of roots underneath the soil. And so it's just really hard for plants to get their roots in unless they're very tough, which a lot of our natives are, fortunately. So that out there is going to be a little bit tougher. And so the plants need to really be able to handle that. You saw me pulling some of the flagstone up here, or the stepping stones, and that's because what I want this year, don't fall, Eileen. I had the path going here, but I basically just want this path to now be a sort of keyhole and to have solid planting here, because I really want to create a sense of enclosure for the seating area. So I want to get some stuff here. I think I'm going to actually get maybe some evergreen shrubs right here to add some structure, maybe something right here, so it doesn't look quite as desolate in the winter. But what do we have over here? Oh, so there are some crocus popping out, and bee balm. You may know that as Monarda. There's a lot of it over here. This grows really well here. Look at all this. So bee balm. And this is not our native kind. This is a really pretty magenta color. So, oh, that's another allium. More sedum. And over here, this is pretty sure it's a native coneflower. It gets really tall in the summer, and it's very prolific. I think I'm gonna actually dig this whole patch up. I moved a bunch to the side of the house this summer. And, oh, more allium. Some chives. And yeah, like a lot of projects, it's gonna look worse before it looks better. I'm not gonna compost any of this at home because there's just too much. So I will wait until next week when I can go to the city compost site and put this all in a tarp, and this too. That's why I've been sort of putting together these, using my grow bags as little yard waste bags. Take that down to the city. I did start some seeds a few weeks ago, and look at that. These are some zinnias. I think I'm going to start some more very soon so that I can have a succession. I have really had a hard time growing zinnias from seed. I don't know why. I just do. These are some nasturtium. I love nasturtium, and it seems like one of those that should grow really easily from seed and also have a difficult time with it. However, so this is some arugula and needs to be thinned out a little bit, but there's an easy way to do that. I'm not the best at growing greens. I don't eat nearly enough of them. However, I've had pretty good luck growing arugula from seed, and what's nice is that you can do cut and come again if you want. I think with most varieties. But this also works really well in containers, and then once it starts warming up, which is part of the reason I struggle with greens here, is because our spring weather is cold and then it gets very hot very quickly, and we don't really have a cool season. So things like lettuce, kale, all that kind of stuff, you basically need to put them in full sun if you're planting them early in spring, but I have found that then it just gets too hot too quickly and it will bolt. So I have found it easiest to just plant it in something that I can move, so then if it gets really hot, I can move it into a shadier area and keep it going. Tried to tidy it up a little bit in here, so I have some more room in this tray, maybe this one if I use a really little pot, and then these back here. See, nothing yet on this, but it does have a dish. Looks like we do have a few of the apricota cosmos coming up. Cute. And then obviously have the this is a mesclun mix of the arugula, and then these are kale. And then over here I have black hollyhock, and this was very old seed, so I won't be surprised if that's the only seedling I get. This is Swiss chard, which I actually do not like how Swiss chard tastes. I will eat it when it's very small. But I just really like how it looks, and I have a friend who is a much healthier eater than me, and she will definitely eat those. Then I've got some more nasturtium. This is seed that I saved from last year, and it was just sitting out on my little desk in the garden house, so that seed could also be bad. But like I said, I love nasturtium, so I keep trying to grow it. So I'm going to get a couple more trays, and then I can start potting up some of the perennials. So before I start potting these up, just wanted to show you something. This is one of the cool things about sedum, is I just can chop it really roughly. And you're like, oh no, look at all these little chunks. But this will grow. This is why sedum is awesome. You could even just poke this right in here. done, and you will have another sedum. So I wanted to get this a little bit further divided first, and then I am going to wash off the roots because in Minnesota we have a problem with jumping worm. And so if you're going to take plants from your home garden and sell them or give them away, you have to completely wash off the roots so that you're not getting the worms or their eggs, and then put it in sterile potting soil, which I will do next. It's been a pretty nice day out here. Still definitely a bit cold, but I'm very happy there's some sunshine. And hopefully we'll have a little bit of sunshine tomorrow and I can get a few more things done out here. Happy spring!